All right. Hi guys. I'm going to try something new with you. You should have these notes, and so I'm going to go through and explain it and have you guys just write it on your notes as well, and one-on-one, and then if you've got questions, you can pause it and you can ask me and that kinds of stuff, and you guys just let me know how you think it works. I'm also going to play something so that it's not quite as dull as it could be. If I've got a glitch, I'll fix it when it happens. All right. All right, so we've talked about GCF and how GCF is our greatest common factor. You always want to make things smaller, so that's always what you want to look for. And when we get back into our flow chart, you will be reminded again that GCF always comes first. All right, then we've done grouping, and remember, grouping just means, usually grouping means 4 terms. And when we have 4 terms, the easiest thing to do was to make our box. And so we talked about it briefly, but you're going to see the box more and more and more. So you're going to come back to that box anyway. But that's what grouping means. It usually means you've got 4 terms, so you put 1 in each block, and then you just do GCF from there. So now we're going to look at basic trinomials. They're kind of their own idea, and then everything gets put together. So when it comes to basic trinomials, we find the numbers that multiply to the last. So let me highlight that. All right, let me highlight that for you. So multiply to the last term and add to our middle term. Okay, so those are the things that we're looking at. They multiply to the last term, and they add to the middle term. So when you look at this problem, that means that we want to multiply, and I use a little X to organize it, multiply to the last term, which is 20, and add to the middle term, which is a -9. And I use this X just to keep myself organized. So then you think of your numbers. And that's the one thing that you have to do for yourself, that you've got to sit and think of your factors. That's why we do factor pairs so much. So the numbers that multiply to 20 are like 1 and 20. Those do not add to 9 or -9. 2 and 10, those do not add to 9 or -9. But 4 and 5 do. So 4 and 5 are the numbers that add to 9, but since we want it to add to a -9, whenever you get the right number but the wrong sign, that just means change your signs. Okay, so that means that these two are our factors. So since those are our 2 numbers, we just turn to our factors, which are parenthesis groups, and we say, okay, x times x, that's where the x squared comes from. But then the 2 numbers that we put here that give us the other parts are a -4, so -4, and a -5, so -5. Okay, so then this one's the same way. If you want to try it yourself and then just compare what I do, or if you want to listen one more time, we're going to multiply to the last number. That's what it says, multiply to last. So that would be a -12. Just be careful with your sign. And then we're going to add to the middle. And the middle in this case is a positive, so it's a +3. So then you sit and you just think of your factors. Well, 1 and 12, they do not add to 3. And in this case, since it's a -12, that means one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative. So you can keep that in mind because those multiply to a negative, okay? So then 1 and 12 doesn't work. 2 and 6, that's close, that's a 4, so that doesn't work. 3 and 4 doesn't work, so it doesn't look like this one should factor. So if they don't factor, I'm just going to use the empty set, meaning nothing works. Okay, and so this is what we would call prime or not factorable. Okay, because you cannot find numbers that match both of those criteria. All right, so then I want you to try 252, numbers 1 and 2 and 3. And what I'll do is I'll do a video where I'll have the answers up. So after you try it, you can check yourself just to make sure that you're on the right track. All right?